Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping right into a fascinating deep dive into a shift that is fundamentally rewiring our society. We're going to look at exactly why so many parents are literally losing sleep over their kids' future in the workforce, while the select few seem completely, almost strangely, chill about the whole thing. If you've ever wondered why the old, reliable rules of career success just don't seem to guarantee a safe path anymore, you are absolutely in the right place. Okay, let's dive into this. Have you noticed the intense contrast in how people are reacting to the modern world? On one hand, you've got parent group chats that are essentially stress factories, right? Just filled with frantic anxiety about perfect grades, standardized tests, and funneling kids into the right corporate pipeline. But on the flip side, there's this growing subset of parents who are incredibly, noticeably relaxed. They aren't forcing their kids into these traditional academic rat races. They might even be letting them play video games instead of forcing extra tutoring. Why? Because they've caught on to a shocking truth backed by sociological research. The lifelong, full-time job is going extinct. Pushing a kid toward a finish line that simply doesn't exist anymore, well, that's exactly what causes all that anxiety. All right, moving into part one, the paradigm shift, from stability to Legos. To really understand this anxiety, we kind of have to look in the rearview mirror. We're living through a massive historical shift that has completely destroyed the illusion of lifelong career stability. For older generations, getting into a big company meant you were set for life, right up to retirement. But think about the reality of the last couple of decades. In the year 2000, the dot-com bubble burst, wiping out these seemingly invincible internet startups overnight. Then, 2008 brought the global financial crisis. We have this highly relatable story from a mother who worked for a massive, heavily envied foreign company at the time. Following a single directive from headquarters, that company literally collapsed and closed its doors overnight, leaving everyone instantly unemployed. And then, of course, the 2019 global pandemic completely halted the world. These aren't just little historical blips. They're absolute proof that the old rules of corporate safety, they just no longer apply. So how do we wrap our heads around the shift? Think of the old era, what's often called Fordism, as a pre-built, glued-together remote control car. You basically sit in it, push a button, and it smoothly drives you down a safely guarded track all the way to your pension. That was the traditional full-time job. But today, in the new gig economy, it's like that remote control car has been smashed to pieces. Now, work looks like a pile of scattered individual Lego blocks. Employers don't want to hire a single person for a permanent, glued-together role anymore. Instead, they just want to snap specific Lego blocks together to complete isolated tasks. They might outsource Block A to an engineer in India, use an AI to instantly write Block B, and hire a high schooler working remotely from their bedroom to design Block C. Now, what's really interesting about this is how it connects to the work of German sociologist Ulrich Beck. He coined the term risk society. See, in the past, society's main struggle was always about wealth distribution. Who gets what piece of the economic pie? But today, that core struggle has completely shifted. Now it's all about how risk is distributed. It's about who gets pushed out to the front lines to absorb the shock of global uncertainty and massive economic instability. And that brings us face to face with the harsh reality of our current winner-takes-all economy. The risk is just immense if you aren't prepared. Because of globalization and the internet, tasks can be outsourced to cheaper labor markets in a heartbeat. AI is stepping in to knock out complex tasks in literal seconds. Today, a single person who knows how to leverage AI and package themselves as a digital product can do the work of 5 people and keep all the profits. But what about the traditional white-collar worker sitting in an office just waiting for top-down orders? They're going to find their salaries continuously pushed downward by this crushing combination of cheaper global labor and free algorithms. This is exactly why pushing kids to just memorize answers for perfect test scores is a dangerously outdated strategy. Which brings us to part 2, global reactions to the gig economy. This shift isn't just a personal problem, it is a global phenomenon. To see how different cultures are handling this immense economic stress, think about a fascinating personality universe matrix that pairs countries with MBTI profiles, using, of all things, really cute clay dog personas. Take the USA, represented as an ENTJ golden retriever. The reaction there to AI taking jobs is often a bold demand for universal basic income, or UBI. Basically, just pay everyone and let the AI do the heavy lifting. Contrast that with Japan, the ISTJ Shiba Inu. That's a culture built deeply on lifetime employment, so the loss of that structure is causing crushing anxiety. Meanwhile, India, the ENTP indie dog, views the gig economy and global outsourcing as this massive, golden opportunity to leapfrog ahead. And then there's Taiwan, the INFJ mixed breed, sitting in the middle with high empathy. They're heavily feeling the tech boom, but suffering severe transition anxiety as the old, safe, civil servant mindset clashes head-on with the new gig reality. So, who actually wins in this scattered Lego block world? Well, the sources suggest the future belongs to a really powerful combination. The flexible, idea-generating innovation of the ENTP mindset, like India, paired directly with the resilient, practical execution of the ISFP mindset, like Vietnam. The new global growth engine requires both the agility to spot the opportunity and the grit to actually build the Lego blocks. Let's move to part 3 and see how this builds into actionable steps, your AI defense shield.
We've seen the shattered remote control car, and we've talked about the global anxiety. So how do we prepare young people, or honestly anyone, to actually survive and thrive in this environment? You need a defense shield. We're going to lay out a clear 3-step financial and operational roadmap designed specifically for youth entering the AI-driven workforce. It's a super pragmatic guide to treating yourself not as a traditional employee, but as an independent entity in a gig economy.
Step 1 is straightforward. Follow the productivity tools. Since traditional jobs are disappearing, you absolutely need to align your investments with what is replacing them. This means using dollar cost averaging, or DCA, to invest steadily right into global AI ecosystems and tech leaders. If the algorithms are going to do all the work anyway, you want to own a piece of those algorithms. Let the smartest tech in the world work for you, generating returns that offset your reliance on a single fragile paycheck. Step 2 is all about building your second system. Don't just spend all your time studying for traditional exams that only test memory retention. Instead, use AI as your free, tireless executive assistant. Start building digital assets today. Whether that's a niche community, an automated tool, or a media channel, you need to build products that operate 24/7 on the internet. You want assets that are working hard for you while you're fast asleep. So the crucial point is step 3, building an impenetrable financial fortress. In the old world, having 3 months of savings was considered totally fine. But in a world where your income jumps around from gig to gig, maybe going from a massive contract to literally zero work the next month, you must hold 6 to 12 months of living expenses in an emergency cash fund. This isn't money to invest. This is your dignity fund. It is what allows you to weather the unpredictable gaps in the gig economy without ever having to take a terrible job out of sheer desperation. Which brings us to part 4, mastering the new freedom. If you put those 3 steps into practice, you stop being a victim of the gig economy and you truly start mastering it. The end of the traditional workday isn't a tragedy. It's actually a massive opportunity. The contrast is huge. The old world relied entirely on external managers. You had school bells telling you when to eat, punch cards telling you when to work, and managers telling you exactly what to do. The new world strips all of that away. It demands absolute self-reliance. You literally have to act as your own CEO. You manage your time, you hunt down your clients, you learn the AI tools. It sounds like a lot of pressure for sure, but it is also the purest form of independence. And this brilliantly illustrates the philosophical core of all of this. Autonomy is the future's only currency. That terrifying lack of structure, the exact same thing keeping traditional parents awake at night with anxiety, is actually the ultimate freedom. It's the freedom for the next generation to not just be cogs in a machine, but to build lives entirely on their own terms, powered by their own creativity and their own discipline. Which leaves us with one final, incredibly vital question as you look at your own scattered Lego blocks. You are no longer trapped in that pre-built, glued-together remote control car. You have the blocks, you have AI as your assistant, and you have the freedom to choose. So what digital products are you going to brainstorm? Will you build a castle or will you build a rocket? Embrace the new gig economy with confidence, start building, and take control of your own future. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time.